And welcome to Ducks No Sports. This week we're talking about the NFL Draft, which happens this Thursday in prime time on NFL Network. NFL Draft, always an exciting time. A lot of teams, a few teams always move up, a few surprises along the way. Look at last year, Atlanta moves up to the into I think the 5th spot to take the Browns pick, and they take Julio Jones, would end up being a pretty good year. So it'll be an interesting time during the NFL Draft. Never boring in the NFL. We'll start things off with the first pick. And I think the Colts with their first pick is going to take Andrew Luck, quarterback, Stanford. The pick here, after trading away Peyton Manning to the Broncos. The only way they can go here is that they have to get that franchise guy, Andrew Luck. Probably the best quarterback prospect since probably Peyton Manning. So, Andrew Luck, though, he can make all the throws. I mean, can throw deep, can make those throws in front of him. Has the size, has the leadership, the mind to be a quarterback the last years. And I think Andrew Luck will be, when it's all said and done, one of the best quarterbacks to ever play in the NFL. It might be ballsy to be saying that right now, but he has all the tools. And if you look at it, Andrew Luck is probably the best quarterback prospect in years. And I really love Luck, and I really think this is the only way the Colts can go. But with the second pick, the Washington Redskins, I believe, will take Robert Griffin III, RG3, as, win the Heisman. The only way, you're not going to get Luck, too, because he's going to the Colts. You need that franchise guy, which Redskins haven't had in years. And I just believe it's time for the Redskins to finally draft that QB of the future. I think it's RG3. And say what you want, RG3 probably is only right now, it's probably only in the top 10 right now just because of the Cam Newton effect, which kind of the same kind of quarterback, and Cam Newton came in last year, lit it up, and RG3, the same kind of quarterback, uses his legs to get first downs, can make all those throws on the run, and he's on the what I call the evolution of the QB, as I believe RG3 is going to have one hell of a career as well. Probably not as good as Luck, but I still think he will win. He might win a Super Bowl. I mean, RG3 is a very good quarterback. And just seeing interviews after interview with this guy, I really like this guy. He says all the right things. He comes off great. And I really think if you put that face on the franchise, I think the Redskins are going to be good for years to come with RG3 as their franchise guy. And I think that's the only way. They trade up to get this guy. They gave all those picks to the Rams. I think their only choice is to draft that franchise guy. And I believe that franchise guy is RG3. With the third pick in the draft, I think the Minnesota Vikings will take Matt Cleel, offensive lineman out of USC. Last year drafting Ponder, had an up and down year, but now they need to protect Ponder. So they draft this guy, put him at left tackle, put him there for like 10, 15 years. And who knows, these guys kind of just success together, but it all starts up front. And I think the Vikings would be very smart to take Khalil out of USC with the third pick. Okay, with the fourth pick goes Cleveland Browns. So this gets dicey now because Cleveland Browns can go a lot of ways. Which, I mean, they have to go offense here because their offense was so bad last year. But they can go the wide receiver, Blackman, out of OSU. But I think they go Trent Richardson, running back out of Alabama here. I mean, such a force. He could really set a tone for the Browns offense. They can really become more of a rushing team. Just give this guy the rock, 30 times a game, gets 100 plus yards a game. I think that's what's going to happen. They're going to draft him. They're giving him a lot of money, and I think he's just going to be their horse for years to come. I mean, this guy, Alabama, was their horse at Alabama, so he's built to be that workhorse, and I believe Trent Richardson will be that workhorse this year for the Cleveland Browns when he is the fourth pick in the NFL draft. With the fifth pick, there we go. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will draft Claiborne, the corner out of LSU. I mean, they need to replace Barber because he's not going to be around forever. Probably might be Barber's last year. And they really need to establish a defense which was so bad. Well, offense too. The Buccaneers was just bad last year. It was called for what it was. Buccaneers were just bad, but by the offense, I'm not worried because you have Freeman and, Vincent Jackson, so I'm not worried about that. But their defense was so bad, they need to replace Barber. This might be the perfect kind of Barber-esque kind of player. A guy who can shut you down, will pick a few balls off, take him back to the house. And I really like Claiborne. And I really think Claiborne is good enough. I think he's the best defensive player in the draft. And I think he'll be the 5th pick in the 2012 NFL Draft. All right, the 6th pick, St. Louis Rams trade down. Of course, they got all those picks from the Skins. And I think they take Blackman, wide receiver out of OSU. I mean, great receiver. And they need a receiver like that. The Rams have Sam Bradford, yes, great talent. But he has one problem. He has no one to throw to, and they need to start drafting guys like this. And I believe Blackman will be their pick here because there's honestly no way they have to go receiver. I mean, they have to give Bradford weapons. They didn't really do in free agency, so they're going to do in the draft. I think Blackman's the only choice here, and he will be the 6th pick in the draft. All right, the 7th pick. I think Jacksonville Jaguars go. Jacksonville Jaguars were so bad at offense last year, they can only go offense here. And I think with a guy like Michael Floyd, wide receiver out of Notre Dame, physical wide receiver, will go up and get those tough yards. You know, could be a real red zone threat. And I think Jacksonville, they need this. You know, Blaine Gabbert had a bad rookie season. I think the only way he can go is to draft a wide receiver to give to Blaine Gabbert so he can have a better second season. And I think Michael Floyd is the pick right here. And the only way they can go is offense. And I think you'll see through this whole draft through Jacksonville, all they'll be doing is drafting is offense because they were probably the worst team on offense last year, and they were so bad on offense last year. All right, the 8th pick, the Miami Dolphins, you know, tried to get Peyton Manning in the offseason. You know, tried to trade up a guard. That didn't work. You know, try to get the quarterback. They'll get their quarterback and Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill could turn out to be a very good quarterback, but he's very raw, very unknown right now. You know, he'll need to sit. He'll have to sit a year out, which maybe Dolphins don't want to see. You know, got to take 8th overall in the draft to sit out, but that's the only choice right here. I mean, you saw last year, you know, Blaine Gabbert, who I thought should have sat the whole first year out, and you saw how bad he was. So if you're the Dolphins, you take Tannehill here, then you start Garrard for the year. Then you just have Tannehill wait till year 2. Then you plug him in there year 2. Then maybe he's ready then. But you take him because he's the best pick here. He's your quarterback of the future. But you sit him from day 1. You let him learn. And you bring him along slowly. Do not turn this to another Blaine Gabbert because that blew up in Jacksonville's face last year. Let's hope Tannehill does not blow up in the Dolphins' face this year. Because Tannehill, great quarterback, but will need to sit. All right, the 9th pick, the Carolina Panthers. You know, Cam Newton came on last year, just a burst of energy, really gave them hope, and just really showed that, hey, maybe the Panthers could actually be a pretty good team this year. And obviously, you go offense last year. This year, you go defense, and I think they take Quinton Copes, defensive end out of North Carolina. A very weak pass rushing draft. But I really believe this is the only pick here because you need to get that pass rusher. You need to get that defense going because Cam Newton has to put up 30 points a game. You're not going to go to the playoffs doing that. You need to bring on the defense. And I think Rivera, a defense kind of guy, will want to go defense. And I really believe Copes is the pick here. And I really believe he will be the next Carolina Panther come this Thursday. And finally, with the 10th pick, the Buffalo Bills, good offseason, but I think they take Jonathan Martin, offensive lineman out of Stanford. You know, they have so many good offensive weapons in Buffalo. An okay quarterback. I'm not the hugest Fitzpatrick fan in the world, but they'll need to protect him. And you add Martin here, and that really solidifies that offensive line and really gets the offensive going. And with the defense being so good, hey, who knows? You add this guy, he solidifies the offensive line. The offense comes better. The defense still very, very good. Who knows? Maybe the Buffalo Bills in 2012 will be going to the playoffs. Well, that's it for the preview of the draft. Make sure you tune in probably around Sunday when I give my review of the draft. Should be an interesting few days. I mean, never know what could happen. A lot of things could happen. I expect a lot of movement. I mean, not the deepest draft we've seen in years. I mean, you could see a lot of teams trading down, maybe a few teams trading up. But I expect the NFL draft, always interesting few days. And a few big names usually get traded, so that'll probably happen as well. But I'm expecting a few big days, and these next few days for the NFL is going to be very, very exciting because with the NFL, they're always in the news in one way or the other. Well, that's it for this time, but till next time, I'm Aaron Duxbury saying I'm Dux, and I know sports. Kind of.